Most people here know me for Heritage Bakwa, but today I'd like to take a journey back to where it all actually began. I was 16. I was sitting for my O-levels and I was presented with the opportunity to co-found a storefront called 27 Supply Co. And at that time, at home, it wasn't a simple approval from my parents. You know, my dad is an entrepreneur and business owner himself, and he himself recommended me and really told me to just focus on my studies and probably try again at a later time. But my caring and supporting mother, however, was very supportive. She really saw how serious I was and how much it truly meant to me. So she helped me make my case. And after weeks of discussion and negotiations with my parents, we finally came to terms, but with conditions. I were to fund the business on my own, and I had to still balance my studies along with work. So I had my college fund saved up at that point, and to be honest with you, the college fund here I'm talking about was basically all the Raya packets and Chinese New Year ang paos that I had saved up since I was a baby. And it was left untouched, and at that point, it amounted to $10,000. So what did I do with this $10,000? I invested it all at 16 into this new business venture. After 2 weeks of my final paper for O-levels, on the 22nd of November 2020, we opened our doors. And in the first month of operation, in the first month of doing business, we generated $60,000 in sales. But that's not the point here. The point is respect follows receipts, not birth dates. And at 16, people don't automatically see a founder or a business owner. I can recall this one very particular moment that happened was I was in a meeting with, I was with my business partner, and we were meeting some senior execs, we were meeting some corporate officers as well, from a very well-known and very well-established company here in Brunei. I was sitting through the meeting because we were requesting for sponsorship for one of our events, and some of the people at the meeting thought that I was my business partner's son or little brother who he was babysitting for the day. And it was a very weird feeling for me, but I understood it at that time. I was the child in the corner. And over my years, especially in my earlier days, I would often get advice from people who are older than me and people who've had the experience, and people kept saying to me that I should really just focus on my studies and again, try again when I'm wiser, when I have more experience, when I have done the work. But that was probably right for them. But for me, I didn't want to let age grant me permission. I wanted outcomes to do that. So today, I'm here, especially in celebration with National Youth Day. I'm here, I want to kill a myth. And that myth is age matters in business. When in reality, for me, age doesn't matter. Proof does. I grew up in a household full of entrepreneurs. I love the adrenaline. I love the pace. The fact that, something you build can feed families. But I didn't want to ignore and neglect my education entirely. So after O-levels, I decided to drop out of A-levels, and I enrolled myself at Polytechnic Brunei, and I pursued a diploma in business marketing. And throughout this whole time of my studies, I was balancing lectures, sending in assignments, sitting for exams, while running the business on the side. And after what felt like very, very long, after 3 long years, I graduated top of my batch. I was awarded the Best Student Award, and I was awarded an Academic Excellence Award for achieving the highest CGPA in my whole batch for that year. And what I'm trying to say here is education and entrepreneurship are not enemies. But with the right intention, they compound. So I want to talk more about Heritage Bakwa. So Heritage Bakwa, the idea started in 2022. We started building quietly behind the scenes in 2023, and by January 2024, we officially launched our e-commerce platform. And this was all based from our home kitchen, mind you. We started with an initial investment of just $3,000. And in reality, it was literally just me and my mom. And to be honest with you, that was probably the best time for me. I felt so alive at this point. And fast forward a few months, momentum really came, and we opened our first central kitchen in September that same year, 2024. Few months came again, and momentum kept carrying us forward, and we opened our second kitchen, and in July 2025, just last month, we opened our first storefront. And now we are a team of 10. And now my mom doesn't do the work anymore a lot because she's pretty old already, so I don't really want to burden her. But now we're a team of 10. And in just 1.5 years, we sold tens of thousands of Bakwa packs and distributed all over Brunei. And this is just in Brunei. What was very particular here that I really want to highlight is there was no single overnight moment for me. There was no magic weekend. It was literally just compounding my work, decision after decision, day after day. And it was really hard, but it was honest work. And people see what it took. People see the store opening, but they don't see what it took or what it cost to open the shutters every morning with standards, with consistency, with care. And one of the lowest points of my life, I could remember, there were these few months where doubt was consuming me. Salaries were due. People relied on me, but cash was very tight for those few months. And for the first time in my life and in this whole journey, I really started to doubt myself. I started to doubt me as a person, the business, the idea, my purpose. And I had to choose between shrinking the dream or expanding my faith. And Alhamdulillah, I chose to expand my faith. I chose to keep going. I chose to keep going. I chose to do the next right thing. So I did whatever I could. I kept my head down and I started building more. I talked to more customers. I tightened the process. I tried to fix one simple thing each day just for progress. And something that I really want to highlight here, and what I've learned, is resilience is not don't quit, but resilience is adapt faster than you can break. And that was literally how we got through it, or how I specifically got through these really hard months. There was no cinematic comeback. It was literally just a disciplined one. I want to talk now about Brunei as a market. People often say, and I'm pretty sure everyone here has heard, Brunei is such a small market. True. The population here is so small. Also true. I agree with both. But when you look at it from a different perspective, Brunei as a small market has its advantages. A small market provides shorter feedback loops, meaning to say, word travels so fast here. I'm pretty sure everybody knows here that something goes viral so easily here in Brunei. Good work is noticed quickly, but so are bad ones, don't get me wrong. But that should make us cautious. It should make us be more careful about our decisions. It shouldn't discourage us. So for us, it meant being able to share our process consistently and transparently. And for me, I believe that trust compounds for those who act quickly, for those who communicate clearly, and for those who honor the product and the customer. So, what did it cost? I'm very grateful for all the achievements and the position that I have today, but it all came with a price. My youth looked very different from my peers. I had to grow up faster than most of them. And I didn't go to the traditional uni route, and I missed out a lot on social events, family gatherings, my hobbies. I missed out on the time that I could have potentially spent with the people that I cared and I loved for. But the return was being able to build something so meaningful to me with the people that I respect. And I think up until now, people who don't know are probably wondering, why Bakwa? Why did I decide to go into the Bakwa business? It might be random for most people, but for me, it's a very simple answer. Because to me, heritage matters. Food carries culture better than speeches do. We can modernize tradition without losing its soul. And I wanted to prove that a youth-led brand from Brunei can meet premium standards without waiting to be old. And being able to showcase what we can do as Bruneians. So let me quickly recap about this whole journey. And I want to take this as a time for myself as well to do a quick reflection. Okay, so for 27 Supply, I started at 16, didn't initially get my parents' approval, eventually won them over, and decided to open my doors in the year of COVID 2020. First month, we did 60,000 in sales, and we carried that forward for about the next 5 months. But what I'm trying to say here is, whatever result that I achieve didn't make me an expert, nor am I claiming to be an expert, but what it made me at that time was responsible. Finally now, after achieving these achievements, rooms looked at me differently. Outcomes had finally entered the chat. And for Heritage Bakwa, we started the idea in 2022, we built quietly in 2023, and we opened in 2024. 2025, we now expanded to 2 kitchens, and we have now a storefront. Now grew to a team of 10 and sold and distributed tens of thousands of packs of Bakwa just in Brunei alone. Throughout my whole journey, I lost a lot of things. But some of the highlights that I lost, I could say, was I lost a version of my youth that probably could have been easier. I lost the illusion that respect comes upon request, but in reality, it is earned by showing up and contributing and performing when it's not convenient, when numbers are thin, when no one is clapping yet. But what did I gain? I gained clarity that premium isn't a price point, but premium is a promise to your customers. Whether you keep it or not, the longer you keep your promise, the more people will keep you around. And I want to talk a bit about starting early versus starting for the long term. Starting early doesn't mean you're chasing speed, but it means you're giving learning more years to compound. And by 21, I've had 7 years of doing the work, of putting in this, taking in this experience. And I'm being honest, it's really strange to say that at 21, I have 7 years of working experience. But time really changed the curve. And the point here is time is your advantage, not age. So moving forward, where do I see myself? Where do we go from here? The goal is disciplined growth. To find the right partners, to enter bigger markets when we're ready without compromising on standards. Growth that means creating skilled jobs for our youth here in Brunei. Growth that shows a founder-led brand from Brunei can play bigger without pretending to be something it isn't. And inshallah, we'll get there one day exactly the same way we got here today. One disciplined step at a time. And before I close, I just want to share 3 lines that I hope any of you can leave this hall with. And the first one is, respect follows receipts. You should strive to deliver something that's worthy. Number 2, don't let Brunei's size, or don't look at Brunei's size as a ceiling. Look at it as a vast classroom. And number 3, finally, don't ask for permission to begin. Earn it by beginning. I started a business at an age when most people told me to focus on school. But for me, starting so early changed my life. Age doesn't matter. Proof does. Thank you very much.